Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, obviously. I'm the only one you should be listening to, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago, lovely island in the Caribbean. And I always start my show talking about how grateful I am to be here, to be alive, to see the beauty of the day, and to have beautiful people like Marielle on my show. I don't know what she's snacking on, but but it's a beautiful day in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a bit overcast, but I think we're moving into the hurricane season. We're going to June, so the weather kind of gets iffy at this point, but it's beautiful nevertheless. So I want to introduce you to Marielle Miller. I'm going to share a bit about her. Let me get her bio here. Marielle has 27 years experience in the franchise sector. So we're talking business today, people. She uses her rich background to provide franchise-related advice and coaching to potential entrepreneurs and educates them on thoroughly vetting franchise opportunities through her firm, The Franchise Advisor, which I'm going to show you in a while. Her in-depth coaching is free of charge for the curious to the serious. So if you're on that continuum, you need to reach out to Marielle. Popular with those seeking semi-passive, scalable, and quality of life opportunities, she expertly guides clients through a personal yet efficient discovery process. She has successfully worked in organizational development in the franchise industry nationally as a speaker and consultant on people, performance, and profits, and best practices in successful franchising. Marielle holds a master's in counseling psychology and organizational development. She's a trusted SCORE resource as a specialist in franchising, and we're going to learn what SCORE means. Of course, let me welcome Marielle to Between the Lines. Hi, Marielle.
Hi.
It's nice.
It's great to be here.
Yes, it's great to have you. You look beautiful as usual. With or without makeup, you are beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Marielle, here's what. We're going to go straight into it. This is business we're talking here. Now, let me tell you what I know about franchising and probably what other people may know. I don't know the depth of franchising, but I've always have an interest. Franchises like, you know, the typical names that will come to me, KFC or probably Burger King. I don't know if they have that there, or Starbucks. I was in Starbucks yesterday. Or I don't know, Pizza Hut. Those are some typical fast food franchising. And of course, fast food is always a typical franchise. I don't know if there are franchises in other types of business. But before we even go into franchising, who are the type of people that should look at franchising? At what stage? At what stage? I would love to say in your life, in your career, in your business. I don't know where people should be considering franchising. Should you already have a business? Should you be in the franchising business and want to transition? What's the benefit of franchising? What's the investment? Because when you think of franchising, you're thinking, I mean, for somebody like myself, millions of dollars. And where the hell would I get that from? How do I start? What should I consider? There's a lot of stuff we have to be talking about. You know the kind of questions that will come to you. You're the expert here. So start from baby step for me as somebody who knows nothing about franchising, because I want my audience who will be listening to this recording to be able to say to themselves, okay, I'm in my 20s. Or I'm in my 30s, or I'm in my 40s, or I'm about to retire, or pre-retirement. Is this something that I can take on? Is this something that I can do to be able to live the life of my dreams, to have that sort of financial freedom? Does it allow you to do that in a franchise? That's a question. Or would I be consumed for the rest of my life till I die in this business? You know, as you get older, you don't want to be taking on more. You really want to take on less and have the freedom. So it's a lot of things I'm throwing at you, Marielle. Sorry about that. No, I'm not sorry. So, so there you go. I'm handing it over to you.
Okay. Well, that's certainly a great beginning platform, you know, to jump off of. So let me sort of start with the basic, really super basic for folks. So franchising is a distribution model. It's a choice a company makes to scale itself.
Okay.
There's really two ways a company can go if it wants to grow. It could do company-owned units all across the country, which, by the way, is most of Starbucks. Or it could choose to get investors, you know, individuals to come in
Mhm.
and they teach the business model. It's called business format franchising.
Okay.
And the corporation makes these people successful because it has the operating programs, and it has all of the systems in place for you to basically open something that's similar to the successful ones.
Okay.
And it's a faster way to scale, and it's less expensive for the company.
Okay.
So that's what franchising really is. It's really just a choice, a way a company chooses to scale itself.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned some recognized brands.
Mhm.
And as a company, franchises quickly or over time, whichever, but as it builds numbers of units, the brand becomes more recognized, and people expect the same quality of what they get anywhere they go. People are creatures of habit, and that's why it works.
Right.
So people think fast food, and that's because fast food is the largest sector. About 2/3 of all of the franchise opportunities are going to be in food.
Mhm.
That leaves, however, a lot of companies that are not in food. So there are right now about 4,100 companies that choose to franchise nationally,
Mhm.
of which there's got to be, couple, 1,000 or more that are not food related.
Okay.
And franchising is happening in 70 different categories in the economy.
Really?
So food, you have restaurant and you have fast food. That would be 2. So you have like 68 other categories that we could find franchising happening in.
Really?
It's amazing. Any possible business or service, if it's successful, it's a successful model, could choose to franchise itself and to offer the opportunity to individuals. So I like to say, and I've been doing this individual work with people for 14 years, since about 2004.
Right.
I've been helping the person who's curious learn about franchising. And I like to say that there is definitely a franchise for anybody who wants to use it. And why say use it? Because it's a vehicle, right? It's only a vehicle to get you to a goal. So there are 2 common models that people are going to pick from. The one is an income replacement strategy. That means I currently work in a company. I make $70,000 a year.
Right.
I don't like working for the company. I have some skills. I'd like to work for myself, but I'm afraid of the risk of my own business. I don't even know what I would start.
Right.
So I'm going to get into a franchise that can replace my income. And that's a great way to go. People call that buy yourself a job. And it's really the old-fashioned way franchising got started. Operators came in and they bought themselves a job, which is a great job because you're building equity, and someday you're going to sell your business for a lot more than you paid for it, hopefully. So it's a great job to buy.
No, stop right there, Mariels. I want to get more into that. So I'm in a job that's paying me $70,000 a year. I don't really like it. I want to get out of it. Explain, how do I buy myself a job without working for the company?
Well, okay, so let me just back up one quick second. And because I had said that there are 2 models. So let me cover those 2, and then we're going to say, how do you get into it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so the one is I am an owner operator. So I replace my career with buying a business, and I work in that business every day. Okay, that's one. The second model, which is a lot more popular these days, is an investment strategy. So there are many opportunities that are called semi-passive or semi-absentee. This means you could keep your corporate job making 70. You put 5 to 15 hours a week or so into a project, which is opening up location. And you might end up opening up more than one of these because you have managers. So you could open up 3 or 5 or 10. So many brands like Great Clips and Supercuts and Sports Clips, a lot of the hair brands, Krispy Kreme, donuts, there's many. They want the investor to keep their job and open these units, invest in them, build them, and someday he could retire out of corporate into managing the managers and maintain his quality of life. So that's called an investment strategy. So you could either do a career replacement, income replacement, or investment strategy.
This sounds very interesting. I love this. I really need to have you back on, Marielle, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of these different strategies.
No,
Because
people don't know.
yeah, the traditional thinking, I'm sure you know, is you go to school, get a job, you stay there until you retire, and you just live off the pension until
Right.
God is ready for you and you're dead and you go down in the grave. Right?
Right.
But there are a lot of people that are dissatisfied in their jobs. A
Well,
lot
and
of people.
yes, and there's something else happening. It's called age discrimination, and it's real, and it's happening in our economy.
Yeah.
And because of rising healthcare costs,
Mhm.
companies are more and more pressured to decrease the average age of the company.
Yeah.
And so the older you get, the less safe you are in a job in many companies. It doesn't mean your experience and your levels of expertise make you more valuable, like we were
Yeah.
taught when we were
Yeah.
young. Actually, there comes a point in which it's actually called your peak earning age. So peak earning right now is 49 years old for men, 45 years old for men, and 39 for women.
Yeah.
So after that period, you actually are a liability on the company instead of an asset. So people they're noticing this, and they want to do something different. In addition to that change, baby boomers are not wanting to retire and play golf. They have a lot of life left in them, right? They want to live.
Right.
They want to contribute.
Yeah.
So even if they do work till 60, they still want to do stuff. So this idea of pre-retirement planning around age 50 is extremely popular. Those are the people that I work with a lot, 40 to 50 years old, who are thinking about Plan B, the investment strategy, or a career replacement. What can I do for the next 10 or 20 years?
Yeah. You talk about baby boomers. I want to jump on that. These people who are, and the new crop coming up now, they are not thinking of staying like the traditional people, the old school thinking, I work until I'm 60 or 65. They are not even spending 2 years within a particular job because they are just like itchy, antsy, I can't stay here. They don't like something, they just get out. They're more risk-taking, I don't know, as opposed to the traditional type of thinking where you should be happy you have a job. You can pay the bills.
Yeah.
You're eating, you're drinking, what's wrong with you? They think of the baby boomers and the new crop of kids coming along now as you're just not mature enough. You're not ready. You're not thinking. You're not being real. You're not stable. That's how they think of them. But I see them in a different light. I love when people take risks because it shows that, I don't know, they're just willing to try. They don't care about failing because there's no such thing as failing. And they're willing to try, and they're working towards a place that makes them have that flexibility and freedom and happiness and joy. And it's not that the older folks didn't want that, but somehow society just created a sort of environment that they felt they had to go a particular route, and they just got stuck in that route. But they still yearn for it. They still want that, but somehow they feel it's too late. And I don't want people to feel it's too late. So you could be in your 40s, your 50s, and there is an opportunity for you to turn things around.
Oh, well, you said so much there. We work with a lot of young people, millennials, people in their 30s that are not going to go the corporate route and wait until they don't have a future and make a choice.
Yeah.
They are people who truly value freedom and flexibility and joy, and they want that. There's a lot of new money in franchising, a lot of venture capital money, a lot of small investment groups, that are coming in and doing things very different, as well as the more traditional, like we talked about, the 40 or 50-year-old who is going to either recently downsized, which is happening with so many companies, today, as industries are being disrupted with technology, industries and companies and sectors are changing and quickly, and a lot of people are left with questionable futures. So it's really, like I said earlier, there's something for everyone in this, and it's worth an exploration, because the very first thing we do, you had said, how do you get in?
Yeah.
The very first thing we do, it's just like dating. When you're going to look for a mate, I know you do stuff on relationship, right?
Yeah. And I saw that on your website. I'm like, what is Marielle doing about talking about dating?
Well, I'm doing this talk this weekend. It's called Courtship, Dating, and Marriage.
Yeah, I
Is
saw
this
that.
franchise right for you?
I saw that.
We use the analogy, right, of courtship, dating, and marriage, right?
Yeah.
So before you get into this idea of actually dating, courtship, and marriage, in your head or on paper.
Sometimes Marielle is marriage, courtship, and dating.
All at the same time.
Sometimes we do the other way around. I don't know. People, there's no linear way anymore, it seems.
Yeah, that's true. So in your mind or on paper, you have a list, and that list would be three things. Yeah. It would be your must-have factors in a mate, right?
Yeah.
Your nice to have, so your secondary list, and then your knockout factors. So that's clearly identified somewhere, maybe just the way you were brought up, or you literally wrote it down like they tell you in law of attraction training, okay? But right. You know what you want, and you know the knockout factor. Maybe it's education, maybe it's sense of humor, maybe it's teeth. I don't know for you, but you know. So in the same regard, what we want to do before we start looking at companies or business models is we want to get those same lists. We want to find out what is absolutely essential in the situation for you.
Yes.
Then we want to say, what are the compromisable traits? In other words, it would be nice if this business didn't have to deal with teenagers, because I don't really like teenagers, let's say. But I can handle it if it's a great business. Okay. So your nice to have list. I'd like something that's open only till 6 p.m., but if it's retail hours, I'm okay with that. And then you have third, your knockout factor. I am not willing to look at a business that's in these categories, or I am not willing to be in a business that requires unskilled labor, or any number of issues that we go through. And we look at all the characteristics a business can have, and we create this model. So now we know, here's the ideal man, right? Well, here's the ideal business for me. So now what we want to do is talk about the different categories that are trending. What are the strong categories franchising is doing well and business is doing well in?
Yeah.
And we're going to go through those together, and we're going to talk about each one. And you're going to say yes or no, I'm willing to look in this category or not. And that's going to further narrow everything down.
Yeah.
So then we get to go shopping. And I do all the work at that point for the client. Right. So I will go through the categories using their model, determining which businesses suit you.
Okay. So let me use myself as an example. So I have my vision. Like I said to you offline, my radio show is really what I just want to focus on. Yeah. I want to just do my radio show, have money built through it, make it a lucrative business. Of course, get investors, sponsorship, etc. And eventually be able to, and when I say eventually, it means soon, very soon, be able to live a life that's flexible and free, that I can travel and still do my show. But what I don't want is to be in the show so much. While my show is being done, it doesn't have to be me. So for example, I would definitely probably need a co-host, somebody who would be able to step in. I'm still there because the brand is built around me. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows my voice. Everybody knows my style. And they may be a bit apprehensive. So I want to be able, just like you're saying, probably franchise out my show and still be able to make money from that because it has built a name, and still be able to have ownership, a say in terms of the quality, the standard, etc. It must be consistent. and making money and have that freedom and flexibility. How can I do that? Is it possible to do that with my show?
Well, now we're talking about the other side of the coin. So at first we were talking about how do we help an individual find the right franchise to buy?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how we do it, the way I was just sharing with you, right? How we do that. We create the business model, we go shopping, we show you the businesses that are worth your time, and then we teach you how to investigate that business to make sure it's a good one.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we will help you get an offer from a franchise company that you would find investable. And that's how we do it.
Right.
Now, what you're saying is, how does a business franchise
the other way?
Yeah. How does so the very first, most important, singularly paramount, most important issue of which it would be a deal breaker or it's the green light. It's really clear. Is the unit economics. So does the business in its current state make money? Does it make sense? So if the current model makes money, makes good money, has good margins, and we believe it could be duplicated, right? It could scale itself. And there's a lot of questions. There's about 100 questions to ask.
Wow.
Oh, there's my little to find that out. If those two things are true, so if it's making money, if there's a model that we want to duplicate, and it could be duplicated. In other words, if the business is solely dependent on a human being, that business cannot be franchised because we don't have you in every other state.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, if the business has business protocols and like business operating systems that run the business, that can be duplicated. Okay, maybe there's a bunch of you that's on video and is on streaming, and there's a million ways to talk about it. But if there's a way to duplicate it and the unit economics work, we could talk about going franchise. And the first thing that you do is you develop your model and you get your legal paperwork in order. There's a ton of legality in getting a business to franchise. So everything starts with a feasibility study. And that's when we go into a business and we say, could this thing be franchised or not? And we just go through a process to kind of get the answer and get the game plan.
Yeah, I love that. So which means that persons listening to this who are in a business that's looking for a similar sort of vision like mine, should start putting processes in place, systems in place, a model, protocol, so that it can be duplicated. Because if it's just you alone, then as you said, it wouldn't make sense because you cannot duplicate yourself in all these different places.
So in franchising, I like to say that the systems run the business, the people run the systems, and you, the owner, you run the people. So the systems run the business, right? The systems, all of them together, run it. And then the people you hire run those systems, so it's foolproof. And then the owner manages people. So it's 3 tiers. So in order to save a whole lot of money, you do want to start putting everything in manuals, organize. You know, if you have to unlock a front door, you put that on a page. If you have to answer the phone, really, everything. Because you're going to duplicate the whole thing in another state, another place. So everything from answering the phones, you know.
I get that. So then persons going into business, in other words, let's say I didn't have a business. We're talking to people who want to go into business here now, and they're thinking about it. They should really have a long-term plan or have some idea that this is where I want to go. In the next 10, 15, 20 years, I want to be able to do this. And so I need to start putting these things in place from now in order for it to take effect at a particular point in time. But you know, Mariel, that a lot of entrepreneurs don't ever think that way from the beginning. It's like sometimes out of necessity, you know, they need to make some extra money on the side and they do some little side thing. and that side thing may become something lucrative, because I was reading about this young lady. She loved making soaps, and she just did it from a hobby, started making soaps, and next thing you know, her friends started asking, people started asking, she may have given away some samples. Now it has become a business that she's making money from, that is helping to sustain her household, sustain her, and now she's looking at exporting, and increasing her manufacturing, what do you call that now, results, her output, that she's looking at that. So most of the time when we become entrepreneurs, most of the time it's out of necessity. The current income we're making in our 9-to-5 jobs is just not cutting it, and this is what we do. So thinking about franchising doesn't come to us at that particular point in time. And I wonder if, Colonel Sanders and all these people from KFC ever thought about that when he first went out selling his chicken. I don't know if he thought about franchising was in his mind. I think he just wanted to make money, given the story that I read about him, So at what point, is there a point at which you should be thinking about franchising, or should you start from in the beginning thinking about franchising once you decide to?
Well, none of the folks that I work with have it all fleshed out. That's the work that we do. Mm-hmm. We really help people figure out, first and foremost, is business ownership a vehicle that could get you where you want to go? Mm. Second to that, if that's true, okay, mm-hmm. so that's true, is franchising something that could get you where you want to go?
Okay.
And if that second part is true, mm-hmm. then we do the work to figure out which ones should you be looking at. Mm. So at any point, I want everyone who has ever had an inkling of being an entrepreneur, who's ever had an inkling that, I want to build wealth for myself, not the right. big man in the corner office. Who's right. ever said, I don't like to be managed. I'm not good at being managed by others. Yeah. Anyone with that should consider doing something on your own, right. and also purchasing a franchise. Mm. And the difference is the success rate, number one. Mm-hmm. Franchising has a much higher success rate. And number two, the startup time. So a franchise will give you about a 2 to 5 year leap mm-hmm. to get you profitable, because they have figured it out. They made all the mistakes.
Yeah.
So you buy that. You buy a business in a box, right? You buy their mistakes.
Business in a box. I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not by yourself. So you're an independent owner. You own that business. You're going to sell it. You're going to build equity. You're going to pay yourself, all that.
Yeah.
You have a whole team of people that are there to support you. And you have the whole network that are not competitors. You're going to collaborate with these people and share best practices as to how to cut costs, make more money, be more profitable, keep your competitive edge. So there's a lot of benefits to joining a system, particularly those of us who feel that we're getting older and we don't want to work that hard. Right. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs that successfully built their own company years ago. Yeah. And today they're like, I'm not doing that again. I'm just going to get myself a franchise. Someone else thought it up and I'm going to invest my time.
Someone else
just not doing it again. Yeah. I don't have it in me to do it again,
Yeah. I like that. Someone else thought it up. And some people would be like, no, I need to fight up with my own. This is mine. I created this. I want people to know that I've done this. And some people might cringe at saying, you're taking the easy route out, but why not? If somebody else has already done it and it's already successful, why not jump on that bandwagon and just keep?
Well, yeah. The older I get, the more I realize, the more open I am that it's been figured out. Yeah. Let me be a good student of experts,
I love that. I love that. Be a good student of experts, as opposed to fighting up with trying to say, this is my idea, I created this, I want people to know about me, what I've done, kind of a thing, because it's like letting go, and it might even seem to people it's like letting go of your own dream of something that is of you, as opposed to following somebody else's dream. That is what people may say. You're following somebody else's dream as opposed to yours.
Well, it's interesting because at the end of the day, the people that I work with will come to a conclusion. And that conclusion is, this is good for me or this doesn't fit me.
Yeah.
And either way, it's okay, but on your deathbed, you're never going to say to yourself, gosh, I wish I looked at that. You will have had a systematic approach to check it out and to come to your own conclusion. I can do this. I want to do this. This works in my life, or it doesn't.
Yeah. I like how we balance the both perspectives. Persons who are looking to invest, as well as the business that have to set themselves up to franchise. I think that's a great balance. And I love, like when I'm doing my show, always try to balance things. Look at both sides of the coin to give people a perspective so that they know which way they want to go, So investing, let's look at the persons who want to invest. Are there some businesses or industries that are doing pretty well that persons can consider looking at? What are some areas?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There are good opportunities in pretty much every category in the economy. So what we want to do is assess a person's risk tolerance, their profile, and then help determine what areas should we look at. And in those areas, what companies should we look at? So for some people, for example, they're very risk averse, even though they want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. So those people, we're going to stick with certain categories. Like we might start with automotive, which is very stable and recession resistant.
Yeah.
We might go to hair care, right? Your hair grows no matter what the economy is. So that's
for sure.
And the Flowbee is not coming back.
I never thought of that. Your hair grows no matter what the economy. I never thought of that.
It's not a luxury item, and you can't do it on the internet. And the Flowbee is not coming back. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah, that's not coming back. So we have like a very much a recession-resistant business.
I thought of hair. Yeah. And hair is a big thing because people are doing the weave, the extension, the colors.
It's a great category. Yeah.
I never thought of hair.
Yeah. So right now, one of the talks that we're doing end of the month is called Trends in Franchising. We're going to be talking about a couple different categories. So the one is personal services. Yeah. Personal services is growing at the fastest clip of any of the industries.
When you say
so, that's going to include.
What do you mean?
So hair goes under that.
Okay.
Exercise, right? Fitness and health will go under that.
Yeah.
Beauty. Massage, day spa, right? What else? Children's education and tutoring.
Whoa.
So all of these things that people have more money to spend on themselves these days. Baby boomers are health conscious. They want to eat better, take better care of themselves.
Yes.
People are more homebound. They want to spend their money on themselves. And so family and personal services have the best growth in the years to come.
People are trying to get younger, look better, feel better, be healthier. Yeah.
We are living longer and we want a quality of life to go along with the number of years.
Yeah.
So you could be very good. You could be very safe in those categories. Another one has to do with home services. So there's never been a better time to get into home services because equity in homes is at an all-time high. 6-figure earners is at an all-time high. Dual family incomes are saving more. There's a lot of reasons.
When you say home services, give me an idea.
Okay, I'll give you a handful of ideas. So tree removal, mosquito repellent, roofing, flooring, blinds for the house, interior design, garage renovation, closet and storage solutions. What else? Disaster remediation, water removal, mold removal. What else? There's just tons that are under that umbrella.
Is that more in the US or you see that globally? Because I'm hearing you say that and I wonder if that is something that can fit in the Caribbean.
Oh if there are homes, then you could definitely do well in a home service.
Yeah.
So these are generally home-based businesses, believe it or not,
Yeah.
which on an upward trend, and they're vans or cars, right? And you have a fleet of these cars or vans, and you service the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
No brick and mortar, so your margins are very strong in these businesses. You have some salespeople and some technical people that work for you.
Beautiful.
So,
I love that.
Those are doing well. Moving companies, to help you move. In elderly care, there's handyman services for the elderly. There are services that, how you have to baby-proof a home when you have a kid?
Yeah.
Well, there are services to sort of adult-proof a home for the senior.
Oh, yes.
Which is on the rise because of the number of,
the aging population. Yeah. Interesting. Those seems like, the way how the world has turned now, very much into convenience type, ready-made. Yeah. So even things like what I've noticed, like when I was living in Jamaica, I've lived in Jamaica for 21 years, and people are even shopping. They're making shopping for the elderly or people who are just not able to come out. They can fax in, let's say, their grocery list into the supermarket and it's delivered to them. Or even to get their medicine, things like that. And those things are convenience, to save them from coming out on the road, probably driving, probably they're not mobile, just to make things more livable, for them.
Yes. Think about it this way. People today are willing to exchange their hard-earned dollars for more time. That trend is not going to change. Yeah. So anything that gives you more quality time with your family and friends, so maid services for the residential maids that come in.
That is where I'm at.
Right?
That's where I'm at.
All of that. All of those services are very, very strong.
I told somebody that the other day. I said, listen, I've done my time with the cleaning, cooking, washing, and all those. No, you're not getting me to do that again. You're not getting me. The occasional prepare.
They're just paying for that. People
yeah.
Like you said, the convenience.
Yeah, the time for that is over. Pay somebody to do those things, and it will give me a large chunk of time to spend with a significant other, which I need right now in my life. I prefer to spend that quality time with somebody and let somebody else do the cooking. I could supervise and make sure it's done properly, but I ain't doing it because I prefer, especially at this point in my life, to spend quality time with somebody because I did it the years before. And by the time I'm done, I'm just poofed out. I just don't have the energy or the time to spend with the person. And then what's the point? Pay somebody to do that kind of thing. I can easily supervise. I'm not saying that I wouldn't cook at all or do, some home things, but it's if I choose to or want to, if it makes sense. And, cooking dinner together might be, would be a good thing, because we share it, and it's quality time together with a significant other, but not every day. I'm not going to be cooking, washing, cleaning, ironing, scrubbing, whatever.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. No, I prefer to spend that how much hours because it takes a lot of time. If you count up the amount of time during the week, plus the tired time after that, the tired time trying to recuperate and revitalize myself from all that activity to spend time with you. No, I put value on spending time with a significant other than spending time cooking, cleaning, washing, and ironing.
That's it. And you're speaking, for the whole generation of us.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say the third area, which many call the number one area, is in senior care. So there are probably 50 or 60 companies right now franchising that offer in-home senior care. So as we age, we're going to first need companion care, like play cards with me, help me go shopping.
Yeah.
And then we need more personal care, bathing, etc., like that. Eventually, we want to stay in our homes longer. We may need medical care.
Yes.
And then finally, we'll need a transitional support to go into a home or to go into a community. So all of those services are being offered through some quality franchisors.
Yeah, yeah. I know that is a big thing here in Trinidad since I returned. Patient care.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who do that and they make significant money. I mean, and even in the US, I know it's a big thing. Coming in and taking care of an elderly is like babysitting, just like how you would babysit a child. Come in for a couple of hours for the parents to go out and have dinner, have fun, or go to the movies. You babysit an elderly because they're just like a child when they reach a certain age. So you come in, you have fun, you watch movies, you take care of them, you make sure that they're okay, you know, or just spend time with them, read a book. You know, I watched something, it was, how did I manage seeing that? I can't remember where I saw it. It was on TV or something. And they were talking about chickens, having chickens in an old age home. You know, they have a little farm thing, and they couldn't believe that the chickens really extend the life and the quality of life of older folks. And so the kids, like the grandkids or even kids in the community would come, you know, help them with the chickens. They take up the eggs, they talk to the chickens, they feed the chickens. Chickens is what.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something that shocked me. I was preparing for this talk about trends for the end of the month that we're doing in New York.
Right.
And I have a graph, and the graph has two lines in it, and they sort of cross. They kind of cross like that. And what the lines show is the first line is the increasing number of senior citizens, you know, over the years, millions. And then the other line shows the number of children that they've had, the population of the kids declining. And there comes a cross around right now. So as this generation gets older and older and older, there are less and less and less individuals in their family to care for them.
Yeah.
This idea of paying money for a family member, or in other words, not really, but to pay money for the services normally given by the family.
What is happening, Marielle?
It's amazing. But the business owner...
Are you trying to say we should have more children?
Yeah, right. A little late for that. But the business owners in that category, they're like a staffing company, really. You know, they find quality people. They make sure the services and the care is of high quality, and they're matching client to caregiver. That's really what they do. And it's a beautiful career.
Yeah, you're talking about the convenience of going to the homes to offer that patient care. There are some people who are in for that as a service provider. What about the traditional homes that people have set up where you put the older folks in? Is that growing? Is it competing with the other model of going to?
My understanding is that people prefer to stay in their home as long as possible.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a step approach. Like ideally, the elderly person would stay in their home, maybe get some care along the way as long as they can. And then they use the services of the same franchise, you know, a lot of cases, to make the transition into the homes. And there are so many options in a given market that somebody needs to be a specialist in the options for the elderly person, and then match that person to the living environment that's the best suited for them.
You have the the self-assisted sort of thing.
Yeah.
They still kind of they still do their own cooking. It's not like somebody's doing it for them, because you know these older folks, they're very independent. They're accustomed doing their own thing. Don't do it for them. So they may have their own little apartment, you know, kind of set up where they have their kitchen and their stuff and everything, and they still do their thing. But there's somebody there to still come in and just make sure that, you know, they're okay. They didn't fall, they didn't hit their head. You know, they make sure they take their medication, you know, and somebody to talk to. So it's a self-assisted. It's not like I'm coming in to do everything for you, bathe you, whatever, put on your clothes, whatever. it still allows that sense of independence. Is that also, which is another segment of the whole personal services, is that also a growing area?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. There are franchises that specialize just in getting to know all of the facilities in a market and then offering the service to assess the elderly person and to match them.
Okay.
It's almost like my role. My role is to know the opportunities out there to assess you and match you. And I don't charge any fees for my work like a realtor. Same thing. These folks are like realtors in that they match people to the right opportunity. And it's a very necessary service.
I'm going to be using your service. Put me down. Put me down, Mary. No, I'm serious. Put my name down. We have to keep talking. We have to keep in touch. I am so serious.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Well, we know that already. But we definitely have to keep in touch. And, I really hope that persons listening to this show would take you up on your offer and pursue. And you know what just came to me? Know that there's an option. I think people are around, walking about, floating, thinking, there is nothing. There is no choice. I have to stay in this job for the rest of my life till I die. Oh, boo humbug. Oh, woe is me. No, there's no woe is me. There is an option, a viable option that you can look into, and I want people to contact you to have this conversation. I'm going to switch to your website. Oh my goodness, I was supposed to do that, but look here, we're going to do that right now. Let me see here now. So that persons can know. And of course, there is a little pop-up, I think, that should be coming up soon. If it doesn't, let me kind of refresh the screen here so that I can see that pop-up, I think. There we go. So this is the what you're speaking at for the couple of days from 31st, right?
Yep, in New York, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us what you're talking about.
So, well, I'll have 6 sessions. One of them is duplicated. So one of them is the new trends in franchising. One of them is a panel of successful franchise owners. That one's called How to Transition into a Franchise. Oh yeah, if you scroll down this page, we're going to see all the different talks.
Okay, great.
So,
yeah.
That's transition. Okay. Yeah. Then the next one is this franchise right for me? That's the dating, courtship, and marriage.
Yeah.
So which one should I? That's the first one to go to.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And that's followed up by part 2. The next one, will this franchise succeed? So how do you figure it out? Like if you like this candy company, let's say, and they franchise, and you're going to start talking to them, how do you know if they have a future? Right? So we have to talk about, determine how healthy they are. And then on Saturday, we're doing an hour and a half. And that's sort of like a combination of those first 2. Right. This one's called How to Select a Healthy, Sustainable Franchise and Measure Your Chance of Success.
I love that. And I hope that even from learning from this, people who are still single can use the same methodology for their dating and courtship and selecting a spouse or partner or whatever it may be. This is awesome. This is awesome. So you're totally booked for the 31st.
It's going to be a busy weekend, but it's a lot of fun. There will be about 500 franchise companies on the floor of the expo at the Javits Center. So,
and where is that? Where is that?
That's right in New York City.
Oh, nice.
36th Street.
Yeah.
And free tickets on the website. So you save about $10, I think.
Okay, beautiful. So it's in New York.
Get a free ticket for that.
That's beautiful. Well, congratulations on that. I'm extremely happy for you. And I see people can get a free ebook. Hello, please. I put my name in, so please check for me.
Oh, I sure will.
Yes, I entered my name, so I'm supposed to check my email to get my free ebook. So I'm going to click here and let persons know that they can just get the free ebook. And it says, don't do anything without getting this buyer's guide. Don't do anything.
So don't you love the marketing people?
So I'm like, stop the press, stop everything, get this. So when I saw this and looking at your website, I'm like, hell, I'm putting in my my name and email address. I'm not even going a step further. So,
well, you know what's what's cool about this guide is it's what we just talked about. Like,
Yes.
is business good for you? Is franchising good for you? And just real quick, I want to tell the audience something.
Yeah.
Franchising it's very affordable.
Mm.
You could get into a great business under $100,000.
Okay, that's
and
right.
you only need 10 or 20% of that in liquid capital. So we will put people in touch with all the funding resources they need to figure out, hey, what could I afford? Sort of like pre-qualifying for a home.
Yes.
You know, if you have no idea what you could afford, call me. We could talk about that as well.
Nice, nice.
There's a lot of money out there for people who want to do this.
Yeah, yeah. And for persons who may have none at all, is there hope?
Well, you do have to come up with 10 to 20% of the whole thing because you have to have skin in the game.
Yeah, yeah. You have to have something to work with.
Got to have something to work with, some collateral, good credit. There are certain, bars that you have to hit, but it's very reasonable. It's very rare that I talk to a client that we can't help.
Good.
It's very rare.
There is a way. There is always a way. That's how I believe. There is always a way. All right. So if persons need to contact you, well, of course, the big button is bold right here. So you can either use this or you can jump to here. And of course, get your free ebook. What else can I showcase about you? Everything is here. Let me tell you. I love your website.
Thank you.
I need to show this video. So I'm going to ask you to be quiet. I'm going to ask you to be quiet because I looked at this video.
How to buy a franchise.
And let me just...
So you're thinking, maybe I should be in my own business. It's risky, but I want to work for myself. Live the American dream. Every day, people are realizing they are not prepared for the future, not ready for retirement, or simply want to diversify their investments. People today do not want to continue to exchange time for dollars. They want to build assets and equity while earning a living. A business can do that, but they need a proven model to make the leap. Enter franchising. Did you know over 3,100 brands are franchising today in over 90 industry sectors? How can you possibly find one that is a great fit? Similar to the real estate market, you too can have an agent working with you as you go through the process of exploring, learning, evaluating, and selecting opportunities. We are called franchise consultants or coaches, and our job is to identify your transferable skills. Then, with a good understanding of your financial goals, like how much you can invest and how much you need the business to earn, we go to work, helping you narrow down your options to the very best concepts that meet your needs. We educate you, inspire you, and guide you down the path of options, creating a very savvy investor. And best of all, our services are 100% free to you, the candidate. To find out more about how to buy a franchise, call the Franchise Advisor today. You are never under any obligation, and we proudly serve you with over 25 years of integrity. Call 732-481-5188 or visit www.thefranchiseadvisor.com today.
Beautiful. So here we go.
Thanks for showing that.
Of course. I'm trying to get back here. 1 second. Yeah. That is not a problem at all. Let me see. Yes, here we go. Yeah, I had to show that. I looked at it and it really summarized, your business and what you offer, and it gave the number and everything. So it was pretty cool to show that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to show that. So that basically sums us up. I mean, we could talk so much. We could talk so much more. There's so much. Franchise is just not a one show type of thing. And I really want to be able to do some more work with you to help persons to know that there is a viable option. And not only that, what just came to me, Marielle, is that I'm in the Caribbean, as you know. Is it possible to, let's say, invest in something that's outside of the Caribbean and probably even bring it here, look at the feasibility, or even invest even from a distance, or have a franchise from a distance? All those different things are things that I'm sure people will want to consider or probably do. Is that something that can happen?
Well, I think that's part of the model, as we figure out your model, right, it's going to limit the choices because every franchisor does not want to go there, or they don't want to go there now because they have a development plan and they're going to cover maybe national first, while some of them would be happy to have you as a franchise owner. So it really just depends on what are the other aspects of your model, you know, the financial side of it, et cetera, and then to find the companies willing. There are some things called absentee franchises, but they're hard to find 100% absentee. You know, the best model really is that semi-absentee, but you need to be available between 5 and 15 hours a week to be in that business.
I think people could dedicate to that, 5 to 15 compared to 40 hours plus a week. I think that's workable. That's workable. Yeah. So, final word from you, Marielle. Any final words?
You know, gosh, I have certainly lots of thoughts. I want to thank you for the conversation. It was really thorough and lots of fun. Yeah. And I encourage people who has ever said to themselves that they don't fit in that 9-to-5 corporate model. They want something else. They want to build real wealth. To take a look, you know, you're going to certainly get an education that you don't have today. And you'll learn a lot about yourself in the process.
Yes, definitely. And it's all part of your self-development, growth, and discovering. You know, there may be things that you didn't know that you can do, that now that you're exposing and opening yourself to, you realize, hey, I just never knew. I was having a conversation with my son yesterday, and he realized that he's good at certain things that he doesn't like to do. So there are people who may be good, like you said, people are good at accounting, but they just don't like accounting, but they're good at it. So even if you don't like it, it is a skill that you can look into and develop, even though you don't like it. So it's not sometimes the things that you may have a passion for, because you may have a passion for something that you're just not good at, and you're just fighting, spinning top in mud, like we say. But if you are good at something, you can pursue it. Yeah.
Well, yes, and I have to say here's my last word. If you want to jump into something, you could completely reinvent yourself in this dynamic world of franchising, because what we want to do, as that little video said, is identify your transferable skills. So you could have spent your life as an accountant, but guess what? You managed people, you motivated people, you created systems or whatever, and all that you've done, you know, we strip it away of the specific, like I've been in retail my whole life, let's say. It doesn't matter that you know women's clothing, you know, you can get into kids' education or whatever. So the franchisors want talented people in management, in operations, in leadership. That's who they want. So it's less important what you've done specifically. It's more important who you are. Your drive, you know, your ability to work with other people, your creativity. Those are the things that we can extract from that resume, and you can completely reinvent who you are at any age.
I love that. Extract from your resume. A lot of people don't realize that there are some hidden nuggets in their resume, because we have been so programmed into thinking, what are the skills you're bringing to this job? What can you do for me? What can you contribute? And people look at the hard things when there are some other things that you can do. Awesome. Thank you, Marielle Miller.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
It was fun. I don't even know the time. Oh my goodness, we were just talking. And you see, this is why I have to run my own show. I can go for as long as I want. This is my show. I love it. I love talking to people like you. I am so much more empowered, and I help to empower more people, because through this show, I'm able to further inspire. Because if by myself, I'm not able to do it. You know, through working with others, I'll be able to, and spread the message. So people need to understand it's not you alone. You're not in this world alone, and we need to collaborate, leverage, work with each other in order to impact lives, change lives. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Mariel Miller. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I really honestly and deep in my heart look forward to doing more work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. So do I. Thank you. And goodbye. Good luck, everyone.